Hi, and welcome to the Federation's daily Facebook live stream. I'm Mary Beth Landy. I'm the Training and Support Specialist for the Recruitment Training and Support Center for Special Education Surrogate Parents at the Federation for Children with Special Needs. Today, we will be talking about this particularly geared towards parents, but in professionals, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Which may seem an unusual topic for today for Thrive Thursday. But I think it's really important in this time of self-reflection that we take a look at that. I just want to let everyone know the Federation is open and we are working remotely to provide information and resources to families and the professionals who serve them. You can contact us by phone using our regular phone number, our email, or through our online intake form to ask questions. You can contact our information center through our website, fcsn.org. So let's talk a little bit today about forgiveness and forgoing. And what I mean by that is that I find right now to be a really challenging time, particularly when it comes to trying to balance home and work life. I know that I am somewhat of a perfectionist, that I try and do 150% of everything that I can do. And that is just something that I've come to accept right now that's not possible. I am definitely finding that this isolation and working from home, working remotely. I actually work from home. I'm in the western part of the state, but I am finding that I have an enormous amount of meetings that I did not necessarily have before. I am experience what they refer to as Zoom fatigue, which is considered by many mental health professionals as something that's real, that we are required by doing Zoom meetings to try and understand what's happening with other individuals, that we would understand much easier if we were present with them, their body language, aspects like that. And we're working over, our brains are working overtime in order to be able to incorporate that into the setting that we're doing when we're doing live meetings on platforms like Zoom. The other aspect I hear from a lot of friends and colleagues is balancing parenting and homeschooling and grocery shopping and trying to, going to the grocery store is not an easy feat these days. And I think that it's very hard to go through those experiences and not feel like at the end of the day, I should have, I could have, I didn't, and go through those experiences. So one of the things I want to talk about is a concept of forgiving and basically letting go. That we are going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes through the daytime. We're going to have moments where we may not be at our best with our children. We may be frustrated in an all-staff situation or large group meetings with colleagues or other professionals. I do a lot of community calls and that type of setting. And I have to remember that everybody is very raw in those experiences. So I need to forgive myself for possibly getting frustrated with other people. And then I start to self-judge myself and I think I shouldn't have thought that. So it's something that I think is really kind of important to go through. So I have a little sort of ritual that we do. You can do this in any variety of ways that you want to do it. It depends on what your setting is and how thorough you want to be in the process of it. So what I have are a couple little tools, a Sharpie, because I like to put things in large print as opposed to small, a notepad, a Post-it note, which mine shows the frustration of my life. We have a 56-pound Woodle puppy who's exactly a year old who likes to eat things, and as you can see, has decided to eat part of my Post-it notes. And I have a box that I have. It's actually a cherished box. My brother made it and gave it to me as a present, but it happens to be something that I found in the process of looking for a box, a shoe box, any sort of container, a vase, a jar, mason jar would be great to do this with, but something that you have a container and that you have a closed lid on. And I'll explain that in a little bit. So one of the things that I have found that's helpful is if I can sit down and think of something that might have happened throughout the day that may not have been my finest moment. Possibly I have one here, getting upset. So one of the things that I find hard in our household, we have an 11-year-old who's trying to do online learning, is also taking an art class remotely, and in between likes to do some video games. I can't even remember the names of them all, but one of the situations sometimes is that the laughter, the fun that she is having carries over into the sound of it, carries over into the office, even with the door shut, or she decides that she wants to play with our dog, which is great. I love that she does that. I love the sound of her laughter. But when you're on a call and you're stressed about trying to get work done and meeting deadlines, the sound of the dog's ball hitting the office door and the dog then comes thudding down the hallway and everything, I know that sometimes I lose my patience and I get upset, which I shouldn't have. So, or I definitely should not. I need to let that go. So one of the things that I find is really helpful sometimes is writing it down on a piece of paper. I choose to do Post-it notes because it conserves paper, and just writing down 2 words reminds me of the experience. And then what I do is put it in the box and shut the lid. By doing that, I've had the ability to be able to express that and what I'm feeling. And I know we're all experiencing different feelings right now. I've been able to express that and set that aside. By putting it in the box, I can set it aside. I can forget about it. I don't have to carry it with me into my next experience or the next moment, the next interaction. There could be a variety of different things. I do find sometimes at the end of the day, I've got a bunch of Post-it notes. The nice thing about doing it this way is I'm giving myself the experience of being able to express how I'm feeling without having it impact another individual. So I'm not saying to the 11-year-old, I'm really frustrated with you doing that. Please don't do that. Which is, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But sometimes I know that in the moment, it's probably not the right time to say it. So this is just an opportunity or a little experiment that you can try at home at the end of the day, to forgive yourself for whatever you might have considered not your finest moments throughout the day. A way of being able to do some self-care for yourself, give yourself permission to not be perfect all the time. Right now is not a time for perfection. It just isn't. It's a time of possibilities. It is a time for understanding and what I like to call self-compassion. If we are more compassionate with each other and with ourselves, we will get so much more accomplished. And that doesn't mean that we're not accountable. It's compassionate accountability is a phrase that I use a lot when I do trainings. It's not that we don't hold ourselves accountable so that we don't do it again the next time, but we do want to hold ourselves accountable with a compassionate way of, I'm human. This is a very difficult time. It's an unprecedented time. We're going to go through emotions that we've probably never experienced before because we've never been through this type of situation before, and to cut ourselves a break. So that's my tidbit for the day. I hope that that's been helpful, and you find that it's a great way for you to be able to let go of things. Again, I want to remind you that the Federation is here to help in any way that we possibly can. We are a large organization in the fact of the resources and things that we have available and the knowledge base of the individuals that we have working with us and for us. I suggest that you reach out with even what you may consider the most mundane of questions. Let us take that off your plate for you. Gather some information. Let us do the research for you on questions around special education or medical situations with your children. Tomorrow, I would just like to say that tomorrow's Facebook Live will be Fact Friday, and it is actually going to be conducted by Cindy Lewis, who is one of the call center coordinators in our Boston office. And she is going to have with her one of the call center consultants that are currently working to try and answer people's questions. So if you're interested, you can shoot your questions on the online intake form, and they will be talking about how it is that they are trying to help out. So we have consultants that are available to take your questions. Please reach out to us. You are not in this alone. We are not in this alone. We remind ourselves as a staff. So please reach out to us as soon as and you are able to. You can do that 24 hours a day. The beauty of the internet these days. So thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope you have a great Thursday. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and be well.